Blog Talk Radio.
And all of our friends overseas and our peers, management professionals and finance professionals all over the world. Welcome to Business Credit Radio. We're on blogtalkradio.com. We are the voice for credit and collection and finance professionals worldwide. We need to take a minute to thank our sponsor, Credit Management Association.
This evening's show is partially brought to you by the Credit Management Association, a proud affiliate of the National Association of Credit Management that has helped business-to-business companies with their credit, collections, and financial decisions since 1883. Contact CMA at www.creditmanagementassociation.org for more details on how CMA can benefit you.
Thank you very much. My name is Phil Philbin, and I am the host for Business Credit Radio. Our co-host today is Mr. Eddie Sumar, and we are going to get started here in a second. First, I want to talk to our callers, our potential callers. You can call in and talk to myself, Eddie, or our two guests today by dialing 347-989-8342. That's 347-989-8342. You'll pop right up on my studio. I'll be able to bring you up. I'll call you or identify you by your area code number, and you can ask whatever question you would like of our guests. Business Credit Radio is proud to welcome back Mr. John Samberg and Mr. Jim Palmer to our show to discuss alternatives to bankruptcy proceedings. Mr. Palmer is currently the Estates Manager and Business Development Manager for the Adjustment Bureau at CMA's Northern California Regional Office located in San Leandro. He is responsible for administering all out-of-court work programs and managing the liquidation of corporate assets through general assignments for the benefit of creditors here in Northern California and Northern Nevada. John Samberg is a veteran trial attorney with nearly 30 years' experience in the litigation arena, first as a private detective, then as an attorney. John did his undergraduate work at UCLA. At Southwestern University School of Law, he graduated in 1984, ranked fourth in his class, magna cum laude, having earned 7 American Jurisprudence Awards, 2 National Moot Court Championships, and the Abada Award for Excellence in Preparation for the Trial Practice of Law. John has handled business cases as well as major injury and wrongful death cases in state, federal, and bankruptcy courts in multiple jurisdictions, including California, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, New York, Illinois, Maine, Arkansas, and New Mexico. His experience encompasses jury and bench trials, arbitration, and mediation. John is rated AV by Martindale Hubbard. Today's program discussion, once again, is Alternative to Bankruptcy Proceedings. Welcome back, Jim and John. We missed you.
Phil, thanks for having us back. And Eddie, good talking with you, too.
Welcome,
it's nice
Mr.
to be
Samberg.
back. Thank
Welcome,
you,
Mr. Palmer.
Oh, it's good to be here. Thank you, guys.
Insolvency versus organization. Go ahead and take our way.
Okay, well, Jim, do you want to go, or do you want me to start?
I'm going to let you handle it. You go ahead. You start off, and I'll interject.
Okay. Well, first of all, again, Eddie and Phil, thanks for having us back. We really enjoyed the show last time. It was it was educational for all of us. And the topic for today arises from the level of interest that evolved from the show we did last time. And in particular, there's always a high level of interest among credit professionals regarding how to deal with debtors that are troubled, whether they have yet to file bankruptcy or not. That's number one. And number two, within the context of planning as a credit professional, if you have a debtor that is distressed, there are certain things to keep on your radar screen that may help you if there is an insolvency. And what I have found over the years, and I'm sure you guys have found this too, is that credit professionals and people involved in business tend to use phrases and to discuss concepts without really having taken the time or had an opportunity to really be fully informed about what various words mean and what various concepts mean. And this is an opportunity for this group and for our listeners to just sort of talk through commonly used terms and to get a real good handle on what they mean. So what we're going to be talking about today falls into three broad categories. The first is to discuss conceptually the difference between insolvency and reorganization, regardless of whether these events occur inside or outside the bankruptcy court. Then, having established that foundation of basic knowledge, we're going to move on to discussing Chapter 7 and the alternatives to Chapter 7, and this is where Jim and I have had very interesting conversations, and we've actually worked on files together regarding alternatives, out-of-bankruptcy court alternatives for Chapter 7. And then finally, we're going to be talking about alternatives to Chapter 11, out-of-court workouts, et cetera, and that, Jim and I have done a lot of work in that area as well. So hopefully this will be an enlightening and entertaining presentation today. So having said all of that, let's start with the difference
John,
between... Oh, yeah, Jim, jump in, yeah.
Yeah, John, let's start at the beginning. As a credit manager, some telltale signs that the debtor, their customer, is starting to get into trouble. I know
Perfect.
we touched.
You go.
Yeah, we touched briefly last time on this, but I think we can expand a little bit. The first obvious telltale sign is that your customer is starting to pay way beyond terms. It's an indication that he might be having some financial problems. Then, on top of that, he's not paying the total invoice. He's also, a lot of disputes. These are all ways that is helping him increase his cash flow, but it certainly is not helping to lower his debt. So these are early warning signs. A rise in inventory levels, where he's buying a lot of product, which is out of the norm, what he hasn't been doing in the past. Increased employee turnover and not replacing those that have been let go is another indication that they're having trouble. And the earlier you identify this, the better protection you can have for yourself. Some indiscriminate cost cutting, where they're just, taking some dramatic steps to try to reduce their overall cost. Selling off top assets, at a discount. They're looking for cash. Layoffs, short notice, reduced hours of operation. But those are the telltale signs that your customer, the debtor, is starting to get in trouble. Okay, John, back to you.
Yeah, and again, these are things that you want to be aware of, and sometimes there's so much activity during the day that it's hard to sort of monitor this, and that's why staff training is important as well. But anyway, the notion of the concepts, before we get into the administration of these notions, to distinguish between insolvency and reorganization, I think the foundation idea is a company at the point where, for whatever reason, there could be a variety of reasons of how this happens, but is a company at the point where it simply cannot survive. Is this an inevitable shuttering of the windows and bolting of the doors? This company just can't get by any longer. That company is insolvent, and it is going to shut down. And insolvency as a generic...
Would you like to hear more? This is Phil Philbin, the radio talk show host on Business Credit Radio. This full version is available at www.blogtalkradio.com, or you can go to our website at ccma-llc.com. I'm Phil Philbin for Business Credit Radio, and we'll leave the phone lines open for you.